The night my sister stole the show and ruined everything. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. Michael, tell them what you did with Mom's money right now. That was Tessa, my older sister, at 8:17 p.m., stepping into the spotlight at the Hyatt Regency on 17th like she'd been invited. She held a wireless mic with both hands, trembling in that photogenic way that made strangers lean forward. I stood frozen beside the podium with a glass award still warm in my palms and my name, Michael Hart, glowing on the LED screen behind me. 200 coworkers, clients, and executives stared. The company's media crew had 2 cameras on tripods. One was aimed straight at my face, red light on, capturing every twitch. 5 minutes earlier, I'd been the quiet success story. I was Michael, 29, the steady product manager who stayed late and never chased credit. I lived alone in a 1-bedroom in Capitol Hill, tiny kitchen, thrift store couch, the kind of place where the loudest thing was the fridge. For 5 years, I'd built a project nobody believed in until it launched and finally hit revenue targets. Tonight was the annual awards dinner, and I'd just been handed Innovator of the Year. The promotion paperwork was already approved, and the bonus, $25,000, was supposed to hit after the next payroll. That money mattered. I'd just renewed my lease. My girlfriend and I had been talking about moving in together. And if I lost trust at work, I didn't just lose a title, I lost my future in an industry where reputations follow you like a stain. Mom, Diane, sat in the second row clutching her purse like a life raft. Marcus, my best friend and co-worker, sat beside her because I'd asked him to just watch Tessa. That sounded paranoid until it wasn't. Tessa faced the crowd, eyes glossy. He transferred $6,200 out of Mom's account, she said, voice cracking on cue. And when I confronted him, he threatened me to keep quiet. My mouth opened. No sound came out. I saw my VP's jaw lock. I saw HR's director stand up, already moving. Phones rose in the air like a field of little flashlights. Tessa lifted her chin toward the screen. I brought receipts, she said, and the projector flickered. Then my sister's name appeared on the screen behind me. If you grew up with Tessa, you learned early that nothing was yours unless she allowed it. When I was 8, I won the elementary science fair for a baking soda volcano I'd built with Dad's duct tape. The principal called my name, and I stepped forward, hands shaking. Tessa, 10 years old and already a performer, ran onto the stage crying. I helped him, she sobbed, grabbing my arm like I'd abandoned her. The adults laughed. Someone printed her a special helper certificate on the spot. In the car, Mom told me, "Aren't you glad your sister loves you so much?" At 13, I saved for months to buy a used guitar from a guy in a King Soopers parking lot. The day I brought it home, Tessa strummed 2 ugly chords, then sighed dramatically. "He never shares," she said, loud enough for Diane to hear. Mom did the guilty face. "Michael, let her borrow it for a week. Be the bigger person." It came back with a cracked tuner and lipstick on the neck. As adults, Tessa got slick. She learned that if she cried first, nobody asked the second question. She dated men with shiny careers, posted carefully messy selfies, and talked about healing while running up bills. I went the unflashy route. State school, internships, stable job, no drama. Mom stayed the same. Peacekeeper, guilt-driven, always smoothing edges so we could pretend we were fine. 3 weeks before the gala, I stopped by Diane's house in Littleton to drop off groceries. Tessa was already there, sunglasses on indoors, holding a cardboard box like it contained a puppy. "I'm doing something big," she announced. "A women's leadership nonprofit. I just need seed money." Mom's shoulders lifted with hope. "Oh, honey, that sounds wonderful." I asked, "What's seed money?" Tessa's smile tightened. "Don't start, Mike. You always make it ugly." She slid a donation form toward Mom, already filled out for $8,500, and watched Diane's hand drift to her checkbook like it was automatic. "Please," Mom whispered to me, "not Tessa. Just be nice tonight. Let her feel included." I looked at Tessa's box, at her perfect nails, at the way she already owned the room, and I felt that old childhood warning flare in my ribs. Mom's pen hovered over $8,500, and Tessa watched me. The awards dinner planning started in early January. My manager asked for 5 family photos for a short montage, nothing dramatic. I emailed Mom, "Send a few pics." That's it. Within an hour, Tessa texted me. OMG, I'm making your video. Don't worry, I'll make you look hot. I wrote back, no. The company has an editor. She called anyway. Mike, please. They'll use your weird LinkedIn headshot and ruin it. I'm good at this. It's a work event, I said. Not a birthday party. So, she chirped. I'm your sister. Also, Mom already said it'd be sweet. Diane followed up, of course. Let her contribute. It'll keep things peaceful. That was Mom's favorite spell. Keep things peaceful. I gave in, a little. I made a Google Drive folder with photos only, no work docs, and sent Tessa the link. Immediately, she started asking for tiny details that weren't tiny. What time do you go on? She asked. Why? I want to be in my seat, she said, offended. Then who's the AV guy? Can you forward me the calendar invite? Where are you sitting? Is there a rehearsal? Do they have a clicker or do they run slides from the booth? She asked like she was planning a heist. Marcus came over one night with beer and saw a printed run of show on my counter. He frowned. Why does your sister have this? She doesn't, I lied. 2 days before the gala, I got home at 11:40 p.m. and found my laptop open on my kitchen table. The screen showed an export window, montage_final_v3, MP4, 72% complete. My stomach went tight. Tessa's AirPods case sat next to my trackpad like it belonged there. I checked my sent mail. At 9:03 p.m., my account had forwarded the venue contact sheet to a Gmail address I didn't recognize. The subject line was AV Notes plus Mike. The forwarding address ended in Tessa Creates. I stared at the timestamps, trying to convince myself it was a glitch. Then my phone buzzed with a message from Tessa. Can you send the Wi-Fi password when you get it? Just in case. 2 days before the gala, I found my laptop exporting her file. The ballroom smelled like perfume, lemon cleaner, and the kind of money that never has to check its bank app. At our table, Marcus kept his phone face down like he was ready for a fight. Mom kept smoothing her dress, smiling too hard. Tessa arrived late in a red dress that cost more than my monthly rent and kissed everyone like she was the host. At 8:11 p.m., the MC called my name. Applause hit me warm and shocking. I stood, adjusted my jacket, and walked up as the screen went black for my montage. I expected childhood photos and a cheesy voiceover about grit. Instead, a Windows folder flashed for half a second, Michael_proof, before the slideshow snapped full screen. Slide 1 was a bank transfer screenshot with my name highlighted in yellow. A title over it read, "He took it. Ask Diane." A low murmur rolled through the room. My manager half laughed, confused. I looked at the MC, and he whispered, "Is this part of it?" Tessa's voice cut in, amplified. She had a mic. "I'm sorry," she said, trembling like a soap actress. "I tried to handle this privately, but he's being honored like a hero." I turned and saw her at the side steps, one hand to her chest. She looked at me like I was a stranger. "Mike," she said, loud enough for every table. "Tell them why Mom's account shows $6,200 transferred to you on March 14th. Phones rose. Someone whispered, "Is that his mom?" I reached for the podium mic. It screeched once, then died. Slide 2 showed a text thread with my contact name, Michael, and a message. "If you tell anyone, you're dead to me." That wasn't even how I talked. But the room didn't care about my personality. It cared about what looked like proof. Mom's bracelet rattled as her hands shook. Marcus stood halfway up, then stopped, eyes scanning the screen. For one sick blink, the projector displayed input settings in the corner. AirPlay, Tessa's iPhone. I saw it. Marcus saw it. Then the next slide loaded, and the crowd's expression turned from confused to disgusted. In the corner, the projector flashed. AirPlay, Tessa's iPhone. I didn't even make it back to my seat with the award. HR met me in the hallway outside the ballroom like they'd rehearsed it. The director kept her voice gentle, which somehow felt crueler. "Michael, we're going to pause this and have you go home," she said. My VP stood behind her, arms crossed, refusing to meet my eyes. My manager whispered, "I'm sorry." Like she was watching a car crash she couldn't stop. "I didn't do any of that," I said. "That slideshow wasn't mine. Those texts aren't mine." "We'll investigate," HR said. "But right now, you need to leave the venue." As Marcus walked me past the bar, I heard Tessa in the ballroom saying, "I'm scared," loud enough for the front tables. Someone handed her water. Someone hugged her. That image burned in my head. The same sister who'd stolen my science fair ribbon, now being comforted like a hero. My phone went feral. Coworkers. Dude, what happened? Are you okay? Please tell me this is a misunderstanding. A client I just closed texted, we saw something online. Call me ASAP. Then a link hit our team chat. A TikTok clip of me under the spotlight. Tessa crying into the mic. The slide screaming he took it. Comments stacked fast. Monster, abuser, poor mom. Someone tagged my company page. By the time Marcus drove me back to my apartment, my Slack login failed. At 9:02 p.m., an email landed. Subject, administrative leave, effective immediately. At 9:18, my girlfriend called, and the first thing she said was, "Tell me you didn't steal from your mom." I hated that she had to ask. Mom called at 9:27 and hung up after one ring. At 10:03, Tessa texted, "I didn't want to do it like that. You forced my hand." I typed, "What are you talking about?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then nothing. I sat on my bed still in my suit, doom scrolling the clip on loop, watching my own face go blank while strangers decided who I was. Marcus sat on my couch and said, "Stop reacting. Start proving." At 1:17 a.m., my bank congratulated me on a new account. The notification was cheerful, which somehow made it worse. "Congrats on your new checking account," my bank app said. "Account ending 9044 is now active." I didn't have an account ending 9044. Marcus sat up on my couch like he'd been jolted. I called the fraud line at 1:26 a.m. A woman with a tired voice asked me to verify my identity, then said, "I'm seeing an online application submitted at 6:48 p.m. Mountain. It passed identity verification." "Where did it come from?" I asked. "We can't provide IP details over the phone," she said, "but I can confirm the email and phone number used." She read the email first. "Michael, Hart29 at Outlook.com. I'd never used Outlook. Then she read the address. It was my mom's house in Littleton. My stomach went cold. "Sir," she continued, "there was also a funding attempt from a lender called Front Range Finance." Marcus opened his laptop. "Pull your credit," he said. We did. 2 hard inquiries showed up that day. My bank at 6:48 p.m., Front Range Finance at 4:12 p.m. The lender inquiry happened before the gala even started. "Someone tried to borrow money in your name," Marcus said slowly. "Then your sister accused you of stealing on camera." I saved screenshots like my life depended on it. Inquiry timestamps, the new account details, the weird email address. I created a folder on my desktop called Receipts and dragged everything in. I exported my credit report as PDF, Experian_report_0126. PDF, and saved it into Receipts. At 2:03 a.m., I checked my email filters. A forwarding rule I didn't set had been created that afternoon. Forward all messages containing front range, loan, or verification to tessacreates@gmail.com. It had a timestamp, 3:58 p.m. I stared at it until my eyes burned. Tessa hadn't just made a slideshow. She'd been inside my accounts. "Tomorrow," Marcus said, voice flat, "we're going to HR with facts. And we're going to the bank." I nodded, jaw clenched, trying not to picture Mom's face in that ballroom. The application listed Mom's address, but the phone number was Tessa's. By 8:30 a.m., I sat in our HR office downtown with Marcus beside me and a binder that didn't exist yesterday. I didn't plead. I didn't cry. I said I was framed, and I slid over screenshots, credit inquiry times, the unknown checking account, the forwarding rule timestamp. HR listened, eyes unreadable. "We need verifiable evidence," she said. "Third-party confirmation. Originals. Metadata." "Then give me 24 hours, I said. We drove straight back to the Hyatt. The AV desk sat in a hallway that smelled like stale coffee and carpet shampoo. The tech looked like he'd slept under a console. I asked, "Did someone deliver a new montage for my award yesterday?" He didn't hesitate. "Red dress?" he asked. "Dramatic?" "My sister," I said. "Yeah," he said. "She showed up around 6:35. Said she needed it loaded ASAP. Told me, it's family, don't mess it up." Marcus asked, "Did she sign anything?" The tech pulled out a clipboard from a drawer. One line read, "Delivered USB, Michael Hart montage." The signature underneath was huge and looping. Tessa R. He even remembered the USB. White stick, he said. Sharpa label. Do you still have it? I asked. He shook his head. It went with the media guy, but the booth computer logs devices. He let us take a photo of the clipboard. Then, quietly, he added, also, the projector flashed an AirPlay device name for a second. That happens when someone switches inputs too fast. What name? Marcus asked. The tech shrugged. Tessa's iPhone. Outside, Marcus pulled up the viral clip and zoomed into the fake text screenshot. Look, he said. Her screenshot uses 24-hour timestamps. Your phone doesn't. I opened my real thread with Tessa. Different spacing, different font weight, and my contact photo wasn't the same. It was fake, but good enough to fool strangers. On the drive, my phone buzzed with an email from Front Range Finance Verification. It hit my inbox at 10:02 a.m. and instantly auto-forwarded because the rule was still active. I turned the rule off and saved the header data. Received from for verification. Mail. 10 hours 2 minutes and 11 seconds -0510. Someone had wanted those messages before I could read them. The AV text slid over a clipboard, and Tessa's signature screamed at me. We went to the bank branch in Littleton because digital fraud felt too abstract until a human printed it. The banker pulled up my profile and frowned. There was an attempted auto draft this morning from Front Range Finance, he said. It bounced because the new account was frozen. Marcus asked, who did Front Range speak to yesterday? The banker hesitated, then said, the phone number on the application answered. The person identified themselves as Michael. What number? I asked, already knowing. He read it. It was Tessa's, the same number that had texted me heart emojis after blowing up my life. Then he flipped his monitor toward me. There's more, he said. A home equity line was opened against the Littleton address last fall. In Diane Hart's name. Recent missed payments. My mouth went dry. My mom barely uses online banking. He slid a stapled packet across the counter. The application lists a co-signer for identity verification, he said. Michael Hart. My printed name appeared on pages I'd never seen. The signature looked like mine if you squinted, like someone traced it from a photo. On page 3, my last name was spelled Hart. Once, like the forger got lazy. The balance summary made my stomach lurch. $19,430 outstanding, plus late fees. And the collateral address was Diane's house. Mom's house. Marcus whispered, this isn't just embarrassing. It's felony territory. I took photos of every page, careful to catch dates. The HELIC application date was September 18th. The missed payment notices started in December. Diane had been getting mail she didn't understand, and Tessa, who helped her with paperwork, had been intercepting it. So I finally learned what Tessa was hiding. Debt big enough to threaten Mom's home, using my identity like a tool. I still didn't know why she decided the gala was the moment to torch me. Not attention, this felt like panic. The banker cleared his throat. If this is fraud, he said gently, the lender will move fast. They have a call scheduled with the borrower this Thursday. Thursday was tomorrow. Then the banker said the lien was against Diane's house, not mine. We drove to Diane's house because I couldn't sit on that information alone. Mom opened the door with swollen eyes. She didn't say hello. She said, please don't come in angry. I'm not angry, I lied. I'm terrified. In her kitchen, the same ceramic rooster sat by the sink like it always had. Diane slid a thick envelope across the table with shaking hands. This came yesterday, she whispered. I didn't understand it. Tessa said it was junk. Bright red letters screamed notice of default. The lender logo read Front Range Finance. The letter demanded a response by January 29th. 3 days. My throat tightened. Mom, did you sign anything for a loan? Diane blinked hard. No. Tessa said she was refinancing something to help with taxes. She said you agreed. I didn't, I said. And she's been using my identity. There's a checking account in my name I didn't open. There's a forwarding rule in my email, sending loan verification emails to her. Mom pressed her fingers to her mouth. Why would she do that? Marcus pointed at the fridge. Under a magnet was a neon sticky note in Tessa's handwriting. Front Range call, Thursday, 2 p.m. Do not miss. She was managing this, Marcus said quietly. Diane shook her head, in denial the way only a parent could be. Tessa would never hurt me. She already did, I said, softer than I felt. And she hurt me to cover it. I checked Mom's landline voicemail. Message 1. This is Front Range Finance. We need to speak to Michael Hart regarding inconsistencies in the application. Message 2. If we don't hear back, we will pursue next steps. They think you're me, I said. Because she made it that way. Mom started crying, the kind of quiet crying that sounded like grief. I just wanted us to be okay, she whispered. That was when I understood the motive emerging like a bruise. Tessa wasn't trying to be the star. She was trying to buy time. If everyone believed I was the thief, then any questions about forged signatures and missing payments would land on me first, at work, at home, anywhere. She needed a villain with a clean reputation and a public stage. And the deadline in that letter explained why she chose my biggest night to strike. The default letter demanded a response by January 29th, 3 days away. Tessa called at 2:06 p.m., like she had a calendar reminder labeled Manipulate. Her voice was syrupy. Hey, little brother, can we talk without you attacking me? I'm trying to keep Mom from losing her house, I said. A pause, then a sniff, perfectly timed. I hate what people are saying about you. I can fix it. How? I asked. I can post a video, she said. Explain I was emotional and misunderstood the bank stuff. But you have to stop digging. Stop digging, I repeated. Tess, you're in my email. She snapped into irritation for half a second. If you involve cops or the bank, Mom gets dragged into it. Do you want her sitting in a station explaining why her son stole money? Mom texted immediately after. Please, talk to your sister. Keep it private. I could feel Diane's guilt pushing on my spine, even through a phone screen. Marcus said, meet her somewhere public. Record everything. So I drove to a parking garage behind a coffee shop off Santa Fe at 4:30 p.m. Concrete, exhaust, echo. Tessa appeared between 2 SUVs and sunglasses and a beige coat, like she was in a drama. She opened her arms. Come here. I stayed put. Show me what you did. She smiled like I was a child. You're overreacting. It's temporary. Temporary fraud? I said. She rolled her eyes. It's paperwork. Relax. I angled my phone in my palm, recording without making it obvious. Why the slideshow? I asked. Tessa stepped closer, voice low. Because Front Range figured it out. They were going to audit the application. I needed time. You picked my award night, I said, stunned. You always land on your feet, she whispered. I don't. And the bonus, she added, like it was obvious. Your promotion money could have covered the payments before Thursday. Then none of this mattered. My hands shook. So you ruined me to save you. She leaned in, annoyed, not sorry. If you hadn't been so selfish, I wouldn't have had to. I bit down hard on every instinct to yell. Then she muttered, irritated, I forged Mom's signature because she wouldn't sign fast enough. My thumb pressed harder on the screen, praying the microphone caught every syllable. Tessa leaned in and whispered, I forged Mom's signature, Mike. That night, Marcus and I sat at my tiny kitchen table, listening to the garage recording until my anger turned cold. Okay, Marcus said, tapping the waveform on his laptop. We don't confront her in Mom's kitchen. We do this controlled. I didn't want to involve lawyers. I wanted my life back. But my life had already been filmed in 4K while my sister painted me as a thief, and HR had made it clear, no proof, no job. So the next morning we met Attorney Patel in a small office near Civic Center Park. She had the kind of calm that made my panic feel childish. I laid out the receipts, the hotel clipboard photo, the forwarding rule screenshot with timestamp 3:58 p.m., my credit report showing Front Range inquiry at 4:12 p.m., the bank packet with heart misspelled, and the default notice screaming January 29th. Patel listened, then said, this is identity theft and forgery. If you want your job and your mother's house protected, you document and report. Diane arrived an hour later, eyes red, voice shaking. Please, she said to me, don't destroy your sister. Patel didn't react to the guilt bait. Diane, your home is collateral. Doing nothing destroys you. I watched Mom struggle like she was choosing between 2 children on a burning bridge. Patel asked me, do you want to give Tessa one chance to correct this in writing before formal reporting? I swallowed. Yes. 1. We drafted a simple meeting invite. Come to Attorney Patel's office Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Bring ID. We need to correct bank documents and the gala incident. No accusations, no threats. I texted Tessa. If you want to fix this privately, show up and sign corrections. She replied in 30 seconds. LOL dramatic. Fine. Tell Mom I love her. I didn't tell her I had recorded her. I didn't tell her HR was waiting for my evidence at 3 o'clock. I didn't tell her the bank had flagged the accounts. Patel booked a glass-walled conference room facing the hallway. Witnesses without a stage. Marcus sat beside me with a legal pad. Diane clutched her purse like armor. At 12:28, I queued the audio file on my laptop. Garage_confession_0126. M4A. At 12:31, heels clicked outside the door. At 12:31, Tessa walked into Patel's office, smiling like she'd won. Tessa sat down like she owned the chair and the story. Attorney Patel didn't give her room to warm up the audience. This is about accounts opened in Michael's name and a loan against Diane's property, she said. Answer directly. Tessa put a hand to her chest. He's spiraling, she told Patel, then glanced at Mom. He's been controlling for years. Patel slid a single page across the table. My credit report. Front Range Finance Inquiry, January 25th, for 12 p.m. The phone number on the application ends in 7741. Tessa blinked. So? Marcus said, flat. That's your number. Tessa's eyes went wet instantly. He probably typed it wrong. He does that. I opened my laptop and lined the receipts up like dominoes. Screenshot 1. My bank alert, 1:17 a.m. New checking account active. Email Michael. Heart29 at Outlook.com. Screenshot 2. My email rule, created 3:58 p.m. Forwarding anything with Front Range to tessacreates@gmail.com. Screenshot 3. The Hyatt AV clipboard photo, delivered USB 6:35 p.m. Signed Tessa R. Diane's voice cracked. Tessa, why is my address on his bank application? Tessa pivoted fast. Because he stole from you, she whispered, loud enough for the glass wall. He transferred $6,200. That screenshot you used? Marcus asked. We verified the transaction ID. He slid the bank's printout forward. The transfer existed, but the sender wasn't Diane's personal account. It was the fake account ending 9044, opened at 6:48 p.m. A test transfer designed to look like Mom sent me money. Originating email, Michael. Heart29 at Outlook.com. Tessa's face tightened. He set me up, she snapped. Patel didn't react. Then sign a statement denying forgery and confirming your gala screenshots were unedited originals. Tessa froze at the pen. I clicked play on the audio file. Garage_confession_0126. M4A. Tessa's own voice filled the room, clear as a bruise. I forged Mom's signature because she wouldn't sign fast enough. Diane went still. Tessa lunged for the laptop. Patel moved it away. Tessa's mask slipped into anger. Fine, she hissed. Call the cops. But when they ask who gave me Mom's social security card, don't act surprised. My phone buzzed with HR's reminder, and I realized the clock mattered. The HR meeting was scheduled for 3 p.m., which meant I had 90 minutes to turn a viral lie into a file that could survive legal review. Marcus drove while I sat in the passenger seat emailing myself everything. The credit report PDF, Experian_report_0126. PDF, the Hyatt clipboard photo, the email header showing Front Range verification messages getting auto-forwarded, and Patel's letter summarizing probable identity theft and forgery. Patel also sent a fraud packet to the bank and lender with Diane's notarized statement that she never authorized a helic. At 3 o'clock, HR's director watched the garage audio twice, then asked, Do you have proof the gala content was introduced by your sister? I handed over the AV log photo and the clip Marcus had grabbed from the room where the projector briefly displayed AirPlay, Tessa's iPhone. HR's mouth tightened. Okay, she said. We're treating this as unauthorized interference by a non-employee. Your access is restored pending final sign-off. My Slack came back online while I was still in the chair. Messages flooded in, some apologetic, some careful, some silent. My manager texted, I'm glad you're okay, and I stared at it, furious that okay had become a question mark. Payroll confirmed the promotion stayed, but my bonus was paused until closure. That hurt more than I expected. It felt like a bruise the company kept pressing to see if I flinched. That night, Patel walked Diane and me through filing a police report for identity theft. It was boring and humiliating. Dates, amounts, signatures, who had access to what. Diane kept whispering, I should have known. And I kept answering, you loved her. That's not a crime. 2 days later, we stood in a courthouse hallway in Arapahoe County for the initial filing tied to the fraud report. The air smelled like wet coats and stale coffee. Tessa arrived late with swollen eyes and a sweater that screamed innocence. She saw me and smiled like she'd found her stage again. Outside the courthouse, Tessa finally told me why she needed me ruined. Outside the courthouse, the January wind cut through my suit, but it couldn't touch the numb part. Tessa kept her voice low, like we were sharing a secret. Front Range scheduled an audit call, she said. If they confirmed the forgery, they'd freeze the line and start foreclosure steps. I needed them staring at you, not me. So you made me the thief, I said. You had credibility, she said, almost admiring. People believe you. Diane made a sound that wasn't quite a sob. You used my home, Mom whispered. And you used your brother's name. Tessa's eyes went glossy, then sharpened. If you'd just helped me, none of this would have happened. That was the moment Mom stopped bargaining. She didn't yell. She just said, I'm done, like she was finally setting down a weight she'd carried for decades. Back in Diane's kitchen that night, the tension felt thicker than steam. Mom kept picking at the edge of a paper towel, staring at the rooster by the sink like it had answers. I kept telling Michael to be the bigger person, she said. I thought I was protecting the family. You were protecting a pattern, I said, and my voice cracked on the word pattern. Tessa tried to muscle her way back into that kitchen without showing up. She sent flowers with a note that said, I love you. Don't let Michael poison you. Then she texted me from a new number. I can fix this. Stop being dramatic. I blocked it. Diane watched me do it, eyes wet, and didn't argue. After that, healing looked boring. Therapy on Tuesdays. Runs after work instead of doom scrolling my humiliation. I froze my credit, put every password in a manager, and turned on two-factor authentication for everything. Email, bank, the grocery app. Patel helped Diane lock down her house title so nothing could be filed without in-person notarization. I printed boundaries and slid them across Mom's kitchen table. No sharing my information, no family loans, no relaying messages from Tessa, no surprise visits. Diane signed, hands shaking. The first real test came a week later. Mom's phone lit up with an unknown number. Her breath caught. She stared at the screen, then set it face down and let it ring out. I can't, she whispered. Not anymore. Then a certified letter arrived, and Mom asked me to read it. The certified letter looked official enough to make my hands sweat before I opened it. Diane stood across the kitchen island, arms crossed tight like she could hold herself together. Just tell me, she said. Are they taking the house? I read for the verbs like Patel taught me. Suspend. Release. Pending investigation. The lien is suspended, I said. They're removing foreclosure from the table while the fraud case is active. Mom's knees softened. She grabbed the back of a chair and whispered, Thank God. Then added, quieter, I did this. You didn't forge anything, I said. I enabled it, she corrected. I kept paying for peace. And she kept sending the bill to you. Work eventually settled into something normal-ish. HR documented the gala incident as unauthorized interference and issued an internal correction. My promotion stuck. The bonus finally hit on March 1st, and I moved half into savings because I no longer trusted calm to stay calm. Some coworkers apologized. Others avoided me like scandal was contagious. That was the price of a public lie. You can defeat it with paperwork, but you can't unsee it in people's faces. Tessa's consequences weren't cinematic. They were heavy and slow. Her credit got wrecked. The women's leadership nonprofit vanished. The detective assigned to the case told Patel they'd pursue forgery and identity theft charges unless she agreed to restitution and supervision. She stopped posting healing content when it stopped getting sympathy. If you're dealing with someone who sabotages you and then calls it love, here's the practical stuff. Screenshot everything. Save file names. Export reports as PDFs. Ask for logs. Get a third-party witness. Don't confront in private if the person performs for tears. Structure the room so facts win. The last night, I came home to my little Capitol Hill apartment. Denver looked the same from my balcony. Streetlights on snow. A couple laughing outside the corner bar. But inside, quiet didn't mean tension anymore. It meant space.